our next guest, I think of the term maverick. Garrett Gunderson is a maverick in the financial industry. He wrote a book called Killing Sacred Cows, and let me tell you, he's got some really strong opinions that are at variance with conventional thinking when it comes to your finances and how to invest your finances and how to create a better future for yourself. His energy is inescapable. His brilliance will shine. You're gonna love this content. It has had a major impact on my life, and now I'm excited because it's gonna have a major impact on yours. Enjoy my interview with Garrett Gunderson. Garrett, thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Give us a little background on you.
Grew up in a small coal mining town. Started my first business when I was 15 years old. Nothing too innovative, just detailing cars. Named it Garrett Gunderson's Car Care. My dad being a coal miner and my mom working in a credit union. I started detailing the repossessed vehicles. I started cleaning the surface vehicles for the mine. And then I went out and did a business competition. With only $600 in net income in the business, I made $500 for being the Rural Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And got pretty fascinated by just conveying messages and teaching, since it was really hard to kind of scrub bugs and tar and buff cars. But yeah, then I ended up winning $5,000 for being the Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of Utah. And unlike most teenagers, I actually decided I wanted to invest that money. You know, I want to get out of the small little town of Price and hit the big city of Salt Lake City, you know, the thriving financial metropolis. And so I went on a path trying to figure out how to invest that money. First time I invested, complete mistake, 18 years old. Because before I was 18, my mom is an Italian, wasn't willing to sign off as a custodian. Their money management method was Folgers coffee cans, put cash in that thing, and put it in the cellar, right? And just forget about it, which for a lot of people, that's probably a better money management method than what I've seen. But for me, I wanted to do something bigger. And so when I was 18, I finally made my first investment. They promised me 18% returns. And if I just put a mere $70 a month away, I was gonna be a multimillionaire 40 years from then. And took an econometrics course in college and figured out there was no chance that was gonna happen. And in figuring that out, started asking more questions. And ironically, in asking the questions, got led to being into the financial industry when I was 19 years old, which may sound really cool, but I was just a product peddler. I sold life insurance, I sold mutual funds, and my job was just to bring warm bodies into the firm so that they could sell them something while I sat there and so-called learned, but that got me my start.
So you say you were a product peddler,
yeah.
But that's kind of masquerades as a
I said I was a financial planner.
Okay.
I said that. I was too embarrassed to admit I was a life insurance salesman at the time. My tie wasn't short enough, my belly wasn't big enough in my mind. I mean, I wanted to sound really cool. And the first 2 years was 98 and 99. I was a genius. I was a financial Einstein in my community because they're cashing out double E bonds and putting it in mutual funds, and everybody made money in those 2 years. And so they're like, wow, this is great. Until 2000 came around and that started to change, and that's when I began to ask questions. And that's where I got rid of kind of these cliches that indoctrinated my mind, like it takes money to make money, or you're in it for the long haul, or the market's on sale, now's a good time to buy. Well, it was a bad time to buy when most people bought. You know, there's so many memes or kind of philosophies or myths that so many people still adopt because they just don't know any better. It's just what they're trained, taught, and educated to do, and it's unquestioned, even though there's been a massive failure rate, and we've watched this great financial experiment absolutely be decimated, yet people are still taking part in the experiment of buying and holding, setting money aside, hoping that it works out, budgeting to the point where they stop producing value because they're in a restrictive mindset, buying into scarcity, thinking that anyone that's wealthy has done something wrong. I mean, there's so many misnomers that lead people astray, and I think it comes from perspective first, because our perspective determines our action. And if people are in a perspective of scarcity, that there's not enough, and look, let's face it, there's times where when you look at people's environment, where they're born in a third world country, they're just trying to struggle to get food. They're trying to deal with crazy diseases like maybe ringworm or issues that are coming up. Man, that's all they're trying to do is survive. But there's other people that aren't under that same survival circumstance, but their mentality doesn't change. And because they're in survival, it becomes a selfish state of existence. That selfish state of existence is, what can I do for me? Neglecting the thought of what can I do for others, and because of that, they stay stuck, they stay poor, or maybe middle class at best, with Herculean effort to say, if I have the right work ethic or I work hard enough, I'll be better off. Hard work with the wrong philosophy still equals bankruptcy.